I promise you, if you stay watching, this will actually make sense. So I have a project where, for a cannabis shop, I'm building what essentially is a security cage, and then want it to look like an old bank. Not exactly like this, but you get the idea. So I'm creating a kind of a teller wicket sort of thing. Anyway, so I have all of these half-inch brass bars that are part of it. There's a whole bunch of them I need to do, and this brass ball needs to be fitted on the end. And I want the ball to seat a little nicer than that, so it kind of flows into the curve of the ball. So this has a 1/4-20 thread, so all of the ends need to be drilled and tapped 1/4-20 with a countersink for the ball to fit in there nice and pretty. So what you normally do is throw them in a lathe and away you go. But I don't have a lathe. What I do have is a mag drill. Brass. Looks like the mag drill is winning. So there you go, with the electromagnet on, it'll hold it in place, but just in case, you know, the power goes out or I blow a fuse or I unplug it, not thinking, I'm going to put a couple clamps on here, and this bracket will hold it in place, prevent it from falling and smashing. And also, when I have these on, I can shut the magnet off, and I don't have to have the electromagnet on for, I can leave it here until tomorrow, and the magnet's not on. Okay, so next step is the brass bar. So this is 1/2-inch brass bar. It will fit in this chuck. Wrong way. And that will be the drive for it. And here I've set up, this is just a 4-inch piece of scrap square tubing. So I had these bearings, but they weren't quite the right size. So we made a little aluminum sleeve, which is actually going to work out quite well. So this is just a piece of aluminum pipe that I drilled out. So my main man Luke drilled out, sorry. 2 1/2-inch. So that is going to be the guide for this end. So I can hold it precisely in place. So what I need on this end is something to hold the drill bits to do the work on this end. Okay. This is a burnout old drill that I already robbed the trigger out of. So we have this plate that can be clamped down. And I put it on here to center it perfectly. I already determined I put a couple shims underneath here, so everything is exactly the right height. I'm going to weld here to hold that in place. And I know it's like case hardened steel or whatever, but whatever, it'll hold fine. So that'll hold everything perfectly aligned. I've checked this height. It's the same all along. I'm just going to put some self-tapping screws in here to hold that in place. Okay, so I have that clamped down, and I think it's lined up pretty good. I put some lube on here, so That's sliding in and out pretty good. But the cool thing also about this mag drill is you can undo this. Now I know everybody doesn't have a mag drill, but you could use a regular drill to do this. And you just have to make whatever type of holder for your drill, just out of wood or whatever you like. You mean you could make it out of any drill press? So that's a quick change. It'll be easier for me to control it on the other side. And then right here we have the forward and reverse. You have to have the magnet on for it to run. So there's the magnet, it's holding it very rigid. So we do have a little wobble. Let's see if I can tweak that before we go any further. Little wobble? That sucks. Okay, after a lot of farting around, I realized that the little aluminum inserts that I had in these bearings, they were a little bit offset because we didn't have a lathe to drill out the center. So that was making it wobble. And I just happened to have some bronze light bushings. They were exactly the right size. Amazing. And so that kind of solved most of that wobbly problem. So I tried one, but of course the battery in the camera went dead. So now I'm going to go through the whole process with you. Look at the channel flex. It needs a gusset. I think with a couple modifications you could actually do wood turning with you know, a couple attachments for each end. So this is a countersink that I bought a while ago. It has a three-sided carbide insert. They work pretty slick. I bought a set of 3 different sizes a while ago. So I'm just creating a countersink that the ball will sit in, so it'll seat up against the end of the rod a little nicer. So watching this, it kind of looks like the bearing is wobbling, but that is just the eccentric outside of the inner race where I don't have the locking collar on there. So this is a tap drill for a 1/4-20, a number 7 drill bit. So I'm going to be doing some 1-inch brass bar later that I need to drill and tap a larger size. I'm definitely going to have to fix that flexing in the channel. You can also watch my video where I'm bending 1-inch brass solid bar. So I want to use the chuck to make sure that the tap starts nice and straight. The tap has a quarter inch nut pressed on the end, and that's a quarter inch nut driver with a magnet inside of it. You can tell that I'm too chicken to go too fast here. Better safe than sorry. I really don't want to break a tap off inside of one of these bars. They're not cheap. That looks pretty much exactly how I wanted it. Now we just need to use some emery cloth to give it the proper sheen, because we don't want the brass to be bright like in the 90s. That's nice. So if you've come this far, you have to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'm going to be doing some other videos showing what the complete unit looks like when it's finished. I'm going to try to face the ends of these 1-inch bars with the lathe. Show you what all these bars look like when they're done. Bending the 1-inch solid bar in my propane forge, and some other brass techniques. So thanks for watching.